back into Tennessee Prep Weekly, presented by the Governor's Highway Safety Office. To remind you, if you booze it, you lose it. Don't drink and drive, and don't text and drive. I'm your host, Chad Withrow. Follow me on Twitter at WithrowZone. We've got a treat in store for you in this segment. Legendary Cumberland University baseball coach Woody Hunt is now our guest. He is in his 34th season as head coach of the Bulldogs, and he's won 3 national championships while they're in Lebanon, and Coach Hunt is on with us right now. Coach, thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, glad to. I'm just sitting in the motel room, as I said, and just watched it rain, hoping to play tonight.
Well, it's amazing, Coach, because obviously in February and March in Tennessee and different places that you're going to play, you're going to have weather issues, but this year it's been a little bit special, I think, as far as the weather. I see a lot of cancellations on your schedule so far this year. How frustrating is that?
Well, it's very frustrating. We're playing poorly, plus the weather has got us. And probably the most difficult year that I remember in coaching is this year, and with the weather. And it's all over the country, all over the South and Midwest, and of course the North. It's just a nationwide thing. It looks like a lot of baseball coaches are really frustrated right now.
Talking with Cumberland University head coach Woody Hunt here on Tennessee Prep Weekly. Coach, you're 519 and 216 overall, won more than 70% of your games coming into this season. But like you said, it's been a struggle so far this year. So what has that been like for you? Obviously, coaching a group that's had it had to have been frustrating, but just not being able to win at the clip you're accustomed to. How tough is that?
Well, we have a new team. We lost everybody off the championship team except one starter, and we've lost 3 pitchers at the break that really affected us, our depth and the pitching staff. And we just got a new club, new team. I think we can be competitive, but it may be a few more weeks where we can get more time on the field and get playing on a regular basis. You really can't get a feel of what you got until you start playing more. So it's just a new team, and the weather, which has affected everybody. And we've lost some tough games. We could really have a winning record if we had won some close games, and we've given away a couple at the end and that type of thing. So you add all those things up, and we're just not doing too well. But there's a lot of factors go into that. I really think we can be competitive when we get everybody on the field and can get people on the field consistently.
Well, and Coach, typically, you struggle in games and you can go back to the practice field and work on your craft and get better. But we talked about the weather and it hampering games being played. It's got to be tough also from a practice standpoint that you can't go out every day and work on some of the things you need to as a team.
Yeah, it's very frustrating. We do have a good indoor facility. We spend a lot of time in, of course, but for example, last Thursday and Friday, we spent the whole day on Friday clearing our field of snow and was able to play on Saturday. I don't know how we did it, but we were able to do it. So we basically worked all day long on the field and practiced the best we could inside. So, we haven't had any practice time. We haven't on the field. We have yet to have pre-game batting practice for a game. We're either raking the field, preparing the field, or practicing inside and hope to be able to play. And so it's just been a very tough situation to prepare the team.
Talking with Cumberland baseball coach Woody Hunt here on Tennessee Prep Weekly. He's won 3 national championships there at Cumberland and had just a Hall of Fame career in his 34th season as head coach of the Bulldogs. And, Coach, you look at what you've accomplished and where the program is now, and you guys have had your struggles this season, but I'm curious, after you've had that much success, does the program kind of start to recruit itself with what you've established there at Cumberland?
Yeah, it does somewhat. Yeah, it's amazing the exposure we've gotten from last year, and from not only a recruiting standpoint, but usually recruiting takes a year for that to take effect. So I think next year we're going to have a really good ball club. This year we may struggle somewhat. So yeah, it's really helped us out a lot on a national basis, and we're getting a lot of interest from junior college players and even transfer players sometimes that didn't work out at their school. And so it's really been mind-boggling that the interest we've gotten and trying to weed through all of those. And, of course, you only have so much money to go around. So that's the difficult part right now. But, yes, it has helped us a lot.
Coach, we talk, obviously, high school athletics here on this show the majority of the time. But talking to different high school coaches out there, especially coaches who've coached at different generations or coached a long time, I like to ask this question about how kids have changed over the years. You deal with young people all the time. Have the players that you've coached there at Cumberland, has the mindset of the young athlete changed, or are there a lot of similarities to where you started 34 years ago and the players are coaching today?
Well, I think kids back in the the 70s and 80s were a little bit tougher-minded as far as, working through things and that type of thing. The kids are no better than, no worse now than they were then. There's always be problems you have to address every generation. I think the biggest issue now we have is, and you've probably heard this before, I think players, they have a sense of entitlement. They have been given so much, and it's our fault. It's not their fault. They've been given everything, and so they feel this sense of entitlement. I think the travel ball leagues, the all-star leagues, and all that, the AAU and basketball, all those leagues have led to a generation of young players who they think they should be on the field playing at any time. And when you have to tell them, hey, look, you have to be a substitute player, then that's very difficult because they have always played up to this point. So they feel that sense of entitlement, and I think that's the most difficult. But as far as behavior and that type of thing, there's not a lot of difference, just different things to deal with. I think the technology generation, I call it the push button generation. They got everything where they can push a button and get on a computer or cell phones and those types of things. Those types of things have got control of their lives to a certain extent also, and that's very difficult to get through that. But that's all they know, So each generation brings its own problems, and you just got to deal with it. But basically, the young people, they want to do well, and most of them are very good kids we coach.
We're talking with Cumberland head coach Woody Hunt here on Tennessee Prep Weekly. And, Coach, one of the cool things about your career is we talked about the different generations, but the alumni that you've coached throughout the years and what they've gone on to do. And I'm a graduate of Mount Juliet High School. My strength coach there was Mark Purvis, who played for you, and he's built a tremendous baseball program there at Mount Juliet. How cool is it for you to kind of sit back and see some players that you worked with and you coach going on to do some really great things?
Well, it's probably the most satisfying of all, except the actual win, the championships, to see young guys get out and develop their program. Mark Purvis is as good a high school coach there is in the country, and he's got a great program there at Mount Juliet. Glad to see him back in it. And we have one of his players here now as a freshman that's playing a lot. In fact, he's going to be a starting pitcher of the day for us, and Curtis Hoppy. But he's a great coach. We have Middle Tennessee head coach Jim McGuire played for us, Austin Peay head coach Gary McClure who played for us, and that's just within driving range of our school, and we have many high school coaches here. I'm just really proud of the fact that they have a connection to our program. I just talked to Jim last night. They had a dramatic grand slam walk-off home run at MTSU, so I was real proud of his win. They've got off to a good start. So, I'm just proud of all the guys that we have a connection with them, and they are very strong supporters of ours, and it's just a great connection to our program, to a lot of coaches.
Well, and Coach, you've had a lot of success at Cumberland for years now, but it seems like in the last 10 or 15 years, you've seen this explosion in Middle Tennessee baseball, different alums going on and being great in the major leagues. You look at what Coach Tim Corbin has done at Vanderbilt. I'm curious, as you kind of watch all of this unfold, your thoughts on how Middle Tennessee has developed as a baseball area, and also what do you think about the job that Tim Corbin has done at Vanderbilt in really kind of focusing that brand and keeping guys locally there at Vanderbilt, but also going out and getting some great national recruits as well?
Well, Tim is probably the biggest influence in Middle Tennessee baseball all over the state, and anybody I know of. He is a unique coach, a unique person. You're not going to find many Tim Corbins across the country. He is probably the best there is right now, and he's proven that. I give him a lot of credit for the explosion of Middle Tennessee talent. High school players want to go play for Vanderbilt, and Vanderbilt's a big deal now. Their baseball program is a great program, and Tim is such a great person to play for, and so I think his influence has been all the way down to the high schools, to the travel leagues, and all that. And then your other college coaches pick up on that. They want to do well, and it's just a growing thing, And of course, we've been pretty good for a while, so I hope we've had some type of influence. But you can't beat baseball in Middle Tennessee. It's as good as anywhere in the country right now.
Well, and Coach, one last question for you. We talked about your current team and off to a slow start. If you ever actually get to play games with rain and ice and everything else that's been going on, What's kind of the hope for this team as they move forward? Obviously, a new team, a young team that you have there, but what are the goals moving forward this season?
Well, our goals is to get everybody on the field healthy. You know, we got one of our top pitchers out, so we hope that he will get healthy. And our focus is on the conference play right now and just qualifying for the next round of the tournaments. And then when you get to tournament time, you hope to play well. And that's been kind of our mojo is we usually turn it on at the end of the year. That's what we plan on doing this year. Whether we will or not, you know, we know our talent level is down this year, but we think that we can, get it going. I think we can be a good tournament team in May, and that's what we were hoping for.
He is Cumberland baseball coach Woody Hunt, and Coach, always a pleasure catching up with you. Good luck the rest of the way.
Okay, thanks so much for having me. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Again, Woody Hunt over at Cumberland University, the baseball coach there, one of the best coaches in the state of Tennessee, regardless of sport. We're out of time.